let's talk about something important. Let's talk about debt. Okay, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I'm drowning in debt. Drowning in debt. Drowning in debt. I've had a credit card since I was literally in college. And I always knew about the importance of paying the credit cards on time. However, let's just say I'm stacking up a hefty amount of debt. So recently, I've been focusing on lowering the debt. And this is just a transparency post. Take it how you want. I live a life of lux. I work to get the things that I want in life. However, oftentimes I may use a credit card or two. But as I approach 30, like I'm starting to realize, like, okay, girl, 30, I want to be debt free. And I'm not talking about it like I have a little bit of debt. No, baby, I have a lot of debt. I'm at 50% utilization, but the amount that I can use, the amount of credit I have available to me is a large amount, which means that my debt is a large amount, more than the average person, for sure. But I'm gonna.
You see how people get on here and they won't really be fully transparent with what they're talking about. Now, she's over here smiling. I don't know if that's just because how she is. She's just a real bubbly person, but being in debt isn't something to be flaunting or smiling or excited about, from what I'm getting. But it's what I said. You know, she said she's living a life of lux. I've always mentioned to people social media is a wealth killer, right? In a sense of you see what the next person is doing and you feel like you're being left behind, or you have to match that type of lifestyle. Or we see a lot of women that see stuff on social media and what they're doing. They're flying down to Atlanta. They're flying down to Miami. They're flying out to LA trying to pursue a particular lifestyle that they're seeing on social media, which ultimately leads them to do things that isn't the most moral, you know, stripping and, you know, it's YouTube. We're going to try to keep it as PG as possible, but y'all can fill in the rest. But let's see what she has to say. And yeah, guys, when she means a 50% utilization, so when you have a credit card or multiple credit cards, you have an amount of credit altogether from all the different types of banks, and 50% utilization, which means, let's say you have, let's be honest, the average American might only have about 30 to 40 grand of credit, and I argue that it's probably less than that. But let's just say out of the $40,000 you have all together, you're at 50% utilization. That means that you spent $20,000. You have $20,000 of credit card debt that's accruing interest daily at your typical 25, 28, sometimes 30% APR, which is absolutely insane.
Tell you guys what I've been doing to stay on top of my debt. Like, this is a transparency post. It's not an ad. I did pay for the tracker that I use that I'm going to show you all. That's been helping me with paying my debt. However, I'm not going to charge y'all. I don't want y'all to go into debt. That makes no sense. So if y'all want this tracker, DM me and I will send you this tracker for free. For real. Because it's been helping me. Just to give you a little bit of background, I work my 9 to 5. I kind of use my 9 to 5 paycheck to really pay like my house, my car, and things of that nature. But since I've been super focused on paying off my debt, I've been using my second job in nightlife bottle service, or even through my own business, to pay off my debt. Okay, I'm putting all that straight towards my credit card bills. Okay, because I have a lot of credit card bills where my minimum payment is like $400, $500. Yeah, so we're getting it down though.
Yeah, if your minimum payment is $400 or $500 a month, you off rip got anywhere north of $10,000 off rip. And so she made it seem like she had for example, just to be transparent, just on the personal side, we're not even talking about my business line of credit. On the personal side, I have access to almost a little bit over 6 figures. That's just credit cards that I have access to. And again, that you don't get that overnight. You know, you strategically build that over time, which I've done as far as putting, leveraging debt towards my business, and to where my business now builds up enough, credit history to where now I solely just, if it's business, my business can solely just, fund itself on a credit basis, right? But she made it seem like she had $100, $200, $300,000 of credit line, but you got a minimum payment of $400 or $500 a month. That's just the minimum payment. Yeah, you have well over $15,000 in credit card debt. That is insane.
Also, another thing that I did, like I said, I have a lot of credit available to me, and I also still have a good credit score. I just have high utilization. So what I just did is I opened 2 new credit cards, but with 0 APR for a year and 0 balance transfer. Okay, so I just did that.
That's smart.
And what I did was take the debt from the one with the highest amount or the highest APR, and I put it onto that credit card. Okay, so my key focus is going to be lowering those credit cards that have the 0 APR and interest, lower that, and if I need to do another balance transfer on that card, I will do that. But I'm going to show you this tracker that I'm using. Okay, so when you first get into this debt tracker, it gives you a video tutorial on how to use it. It kind of gives you a breakdown of each of the tabs and what they're used for, but I'm going to kind of show you this. Yeah, but this is like how much total debt you have is going to your credit cards, and then based on that information, based on the information you put in, it has 18%, 22, or whatever. Approaching, and we're going out with a bang. We are going out with a bang. So if y'all need this, let me know. I'm more than happy and willing to send this all to you guys for free, so we can all get on the right track, okay? No more crazy spending. It's hard. It's super, super hard. But listen, we don't want to be living in debt. I'll tell you that much, okay? All right.
She says that and should be in Louis Vuitton by the weekend. Should be in Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Chanel. Should be there by the weekend. Oh, and she's in DC. Okay, she's in DC, so hey man, she ain't have to get in debt. You can do what all the rest of them are doing. Find you a nice little sugar daddy. That's either with or without the sugar, your preference. Have somebody take care of you. Have somebody take care of that extravagant lifestyle. Fun fact, I actually did live in DC for about a year. It was pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's on the level of, like Atlanta or Miami, whatnot. But obviously you can spend money everywhere, right? I do know I love Georgetown, but that's neither here or there. But it's not hard. It's not hard to not spend money. It's not hard to not spend money on just strictly what you need. Because imagine if the credit cards wasn't there. Would you have any of the excess that you were purchasing? No. And this is what banks depend and rely on. They depend and rely on women like her. No offense, she's not the only one. Men do it too. Men got spending problems just as much as women. Even though majority of the consumer base is women, and that is a actual fact. They depend on people to just not have self-control or discipline, or they'll say, okay, I get the 0 interest credit card for 12 months and I'll pay it off by then. They never do. Life happens, right? Things pop up. Same thing with mortgages. Okay, we'll do a 30-year, and we'll pay it off in 15. Nope. Never happens. Never usually works that way. It takes a very strong individual, very strong, well-minded individual to stick to the plan and have discipline. Most people don't have discipline, but hey, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Continue to rock with me. I'll see you on the next one.